Welcome to Tune In Tuesday, where every other Tuesday I work with a new color that I mixed it up Monday. Yesterday I mixed the color orange and a different variations. We have orange, just your red and yellow orange here, coral, peach, tangerine, and amber. I decided today that I wanted to actually leave what I mixed onto my canvas and kind of work with that and see how it went. Whereas the last one that I did using the color red, I took the color off and started from a bare canvas. If you didn't get the chance to see that, I can link those videos for you. So some of the tools I think today that I'll use with the orange is my spatula, and some of my paintbrushes. I use these paintbrushes for everything. They're very old. You can see just about every layer of artwork that I've done on them. The colors that I have here are all water-based. And yeah, there's not too much to it. I kind of just go with the flow and how I'm feeling, and during this time I just kind of share what I'm thinking while I'm using the colors. I went over what each color principle kind of represents. Again, that's in the video Mix It Up Monday, and I can share that link for you. But just to kind of review, the orange is to nurture yourself, coral is to go with the flow, peach is to take a nice deep breath in and exhale. We have tangerine here, and we have amber here. Tangerine here is to be a little more spontaneous, and amber here awakens your creativity, so you can kind of ground in and awaken your creativity. I'm doing a 17-piece series, and this is my second color, orange. With this series, I'm working on upcycled glass tables, and they're about 3 foot round, and I'm working in reverse. So typically I work on wood rounds, and I layer, this would be my first layer, so on, and however many layers I build. But the last layer that I would do this way would be what the viewer would see. Whereas for the glass, I wanted to experiment a little differently, where the first layer that I use will actually be what the viewer sees here below. So every now and then you might see me kind of poking my head under, and that's because I'm seeing what the viewer will be looking at. During Finish It Friday, I reveal it, I'll pick it up and I'll turn it around and I'll show you what it looks like. But for now, from this angle, we kind of get a background point of view. It's kind of what Tune In Tuesday is all about. It's just me painting and you watching me go with the flow. Every now and then I chime in with something quirky, like maybe a color triggered a memory, or maybe it created a scene in my head that I haven't even personally lived. I just kind of share what my experience is while I'm using these colors to build my series. In this container here, I still have repurposed, upcycled. I have water here that I've collected from when it rained. It's rained and snowed here in my area a few times, so I've just collected water in different jars, and I just kind of put it in this container, and you'll see me dipping into this because these are water based, so it'll help spread the color. It kind of looks like peach. I may have mixed these up. Yeah, that's orange, that's peach. Put these out there for now for you to see. didn't really want to start with orange. I want to start with peach. And mix it up Monday red. I mixed my colors with a little bit of acrylic. I don't typically use acrylic. I use watercolors, as I've said many of times now. But I thought it would help it adhere more, which it did. But in the long run, how it dried, it's kind of just essentially maybe a pet peeve or just a preference. It's just my preference that I'm not a fan of how acrylic dries. So I'm just using raw watercolors on here, and you can see from yesterday, it did stick. Now during transporting and handling, I'm just going to have to be very particular on how these get to galleries and to people's homes. And it's a personal thing for me, and I'm okay with taking that time. Just kind of really messing with the color. Peach or coral. Coral is definitely a go with the flow, and I kind of just feel like flicking it. I like this brush. I like how it's streaky. Kind of leaves these lines. I have different brushes. All of them have different textures. Some are natural hair, some are squirrel hair, some are just synthetic fibers. So each brush leaves a different texture. Sometimes you'll see my hands kind of mixing in there. I really just go with how I feel. I did mix bronze and apricot yesterday. I plan on mixing those a little later in the week. I'll add that to finish it Friday's video. And those will most likely be the last layer that I put on to my canvas to kind of create this depth with these lights and darks. These are just fun, like swishy. Like if you imagine, even though this is coral, kind of like seaweed moving in the ocean. That's how my head's thinking right now. Keep going back and forth saying peach and coral. I originally had peach here and coral here just because of how I kind of did this lighter to darker scale when I was mixing, but I ended up making a peach or a coral tone before I made peach. So I swapped spots, and it didn't swap in my head apparently, so I'll try to correct it as I go. Bear with me. If you end up being confused, just leave a comment like, are you using peach? Are you using coral? I am using coral right now. That's why I had the seaweed reference, but I'm pretty sure I've said peach a few times. I haven't actually dipped into that one yet. So you can imagine working on glass is much different from me working on my wood. Completely different flow. The wood will absorb and take a lot of the color. Whereas this glass is definitely here, which is great. But it ends up being a little bit more transparent, which I expected. Orange stimulates your sexuality, and so if you have a happy communication with your sexuality, you will also have a happy response with your surroundings. So in other words, like, so if your sexuality, like if you feel like you're fully expressing your sexuality how you want to, you're fully into your creative zone, you're secure with who you are, that alone can clear all energies from your body. It can empower everything within your body from the root up. You feel confident and grounded within your body, and you feel confident within your sexuality. That is going to radiate through your entire being. And when you walk into a room, no matter what the stress level can be, the fact that you're grounded and you're comfortable with who you are, it's just so relieving. It's so clearing. It's a really cleansing feeling to have, and to be able to embody that. Just some more thoughts that I'm having while painting. When you think about orange, what do you think about the color orange? How does it make you feel? Leave a comment below. I personally just kind of like red and orange there for a while. When I was younger, I really loved red and had no problem using orange. And as I've gotten older, and I imagine that's just through growth and development, I don't find a lot of orange in my wardrobe. I have almost every other color, but when it comes to orange, I don't actually use it a lot in my wardrobe. I do like the peach tones and the tangerines. I love eating tangerines, and so I mean it is in my life in other aspects. But when I was looking at my closet yesterday, just kind of looking at clothes, I seem to have something in the middle, but nothing that's exactly orange. Just a personal reflection that I was having. So something that I really liked on the first canvas that I did, I made some of my circles like really thick, and through the process of painting and using water, some of them just kind of barely disappeared, or just the outline of the circle was left, and I really enjoyed that. So I am working on some thicker circles and bigger circles on this one than what I did on my previous canvas. Yesterday when I got done using the colors, I was so mixing the colors, I was so excited and just like, let's do something, let's go somewhere. Like, I had a lot of inks in me, and I was like, I really need to take some breaths, and I really need to chill out. And I ended up going outside in that time because of the errands that I had. But as soon as I walked outside, the sky is baby blue, and nature alone is just really grounding and soothing. But I just immediately just was looking up. I was just like, like relieved, and still carrying this momentum, still thinking about the things that I need to get done in the day. But it just kind of like brought me back down a little bit, and kind of soothed me and made me not feel like, am I supposed to be doing something right now? Did I forget to do something? And in reality, it was probably just that huge dose of orange that I just took in. And now, like, thinking about it, I like now thinking about it, I'm kind of anxious and kind of like excited, but I also have like a few tones around me to kind of like chime in and look at and just like reground myself. I'm really sensitive to color. I'm really sensitive to energy. But color, of course, is what I'm most sensitive to. So I really want to make sure that I'm checking in and not losing myself too far up here and kind of just get stuck. I space out a lot, so I don't want to get stuck just staring and forgetting to paint. Do you have a favorite shape that you like, or that you get stuck making or seeing often? On canvas, I make a lot of circles, and every now and then I make these like little tiny dots in a triangle form. They often remind me of when I'm looking into the sky. When I'm looking into the sky, I like collecting, I like connecting the stars and finding like clusters of triangles or three, or just making different shapes in my head. So that's often what I think about when I'm making dots or triangles on my canvas. If I end up feeling like doing that, that's usually my thought. Sometimes when I'm doing like really fast, I think about like a little person running, or like a little fairy kind of running across my canvas. Maybe just bringing out a little bit of that inner child. My inner child, it's never left. It's always reaching out. Kind of, even though I'm standing here, to me it just reminds me of something kind of melting that way. I'll save this paint water, and I'll save that paint water, and it'll thicken up really nice, and I'll use that as I get towards, the more apricot and bronze tone. Apricot is softer than the bronze, so I'll kind of go back and forth mixing in that tangerine tone with them, and hopefully you can see like they'll like sit right next to each other to create this nice background contrast. Alright, I think this, let's see. Go back. I think that this is where I'm going to stop for today. It's a good layer. It's fun. Got a lot of different tones kind of going back and forth. I really like how it looks on camera. I like how it looks in person, but using all these different type of oranges and mixing them together, you can really see this nice contrast to this darker tone next to these lighter tones, and I really like that flow. I will work on this the rest of the week. You can check out my Instagram page. I usually post a few pictures there before I get to finish it Friday. I record while I'm painting during the week, so I kind of do a quick time of what I'm painting throughout the week from this point forward, and add that to the Finish It Friday video. And in the Finish It Friday, I also give the reveal of flipping it over and you seeing the front portion of the canvas. If there was an orange tone that you like, comment below. If there was something that you learned about orange that you didn't realize that you were going to learn about orange, also let me know. If you like what you're seeing and what I'm developing, considering subscribing. That way you are notified when my next video uploads. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you on Instagram or during Finish It Friday.